Okay, before we go to workbench, I want to talk. Nothing special. I'm just back. I think my last stream was a while ago, a few months ago, but I'm back doing more leather. We were working on the soccer ball, which will come back. But today, I got an order for a Rubik's Cube case. I actually did something off the stream. Sorry, my bad. But it was a collab with my wife. So Julie is gonna make some photos and we're gonna post it. But until then, maybe you've seen it on my social media, maybe not. But I made a little cool bracelet to work with. So to work with, what's up with that word? I have no idea where it came from. But we are gonna work on a Rubik's Cube case. So I have the Rubik's Cube, and every time I want to remember how to solve one, but I always forget. You know. Hopefully, Rubik's Cube people are not going to be upset with me. But yeah, I do know how to solve 2 levels of Rubik's Cube with my brain. That's like, that part did not get forgotten. But the top layer is where the problems are, right? So, anyway, maybe we'll solve the cube itself as well, as we are at it. Meanwhile, let's grab some leather. Put things aside, grab some leather, go grab the pattern, and work on the cube. A lot of patterns, folks. It's identical. Yeah, these are identical. Okay, so these are all the patterns. 2 versions of it. One is transparent, and one is to push into leather, to mark the leather, basically, right? This one is supposedly has markings for the holes, so maybe we'll try both of them. We'll see. I might make a couple blanks out of it. Am I sure I don't have any prepared? Yes, I don't have any prepared. Yeah. Okay. This one will make out of this leather. It's relatively on the thick side, so we'll see how that goes. What do I do about it? What should I do about it? Let's see. So this is basically this 3 by 4. Maybe I'll just cut a piece, cut a couple pieces like these, right? So it will be what? 6 by 9. 6 by 9 panel. 2 of them, right? Is that cutting it close or is it good? What about this one? 6 by 9. Yeah, I think they're both accurate. So 6 by 9 it is. Right? No, it's actually a little less because, oh no, I need multiple of these, not just 2. Or is it 2? Bottom, front, and 2 sides. No, it is 2. So, sounds good. So 6 by 9. 2 6 by 9 panels to cut out of leather. Maybe a little bigger. And that should be enough to make this project. Oh yeah, and I forgot to move my stuff around a little bit to make sure my YouTube works. Yeah, YouTube seems to work, right? Let's hear the audio. Yeah, YouTube seems to work, right? Let's hear the audio. Yeah, we're good. Okay. So what I was saying is here. Here it's 3. Basically the 2 panels are this big, right? And I need basically to cut it across using a little ruler. A little ruler. So okay, you know what? Let's bring back the full mat. Let's bring back the full mat. Or did I destroy the full mat? Is that what happened? Maybe. Maybe that's what I did. Okay. You know what? Let's keep the mat. It's too much hassle. Too much hassle. So if this is a 9-inch mark, right? I need to cut the parallel line at the 3-inch mark. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's right. How do I do that? I have no idea. Something like that will do, right? Using the eye. Okay. Shift it a bit. And cut the rest. Or rather, just use the eye. Use the eye. Okay, the eye has been used. You see this blue thing? This hits my back as I sit on this chair because it's pretty cold out here in my basement and I need to survive that. So basically, we want to use this pattern to cut out the pieces. How do I want to do that? I can wet it and try using these on the press. Let's start with that. Okay. So how much do I need? I need like half of it, approximately, right? Well, in fact, we wanted to cut it in half to begin with, right? So something of this sort, right? Will this be enough? 1, 2, 3, 4. Cutting it close, but should be enough. I'll do a little more. Boop. You see, this knife can go sideways like that. And be very useful. Like this. So, let's wet this and try using the press. Maybe a little more wet. A little more water. And then we'll go to the press. There we go. And do some activities over there. But I remember I don't need a lot of pressure on this, just a little bit. So open it out. Right. This will be our base of operation, and this will be our top. Did my camera get hogged? Is that what's going on? Or not? I can't tell. Oops. Oops. Seems to be okay. Nope, not okay. Why is it not showing stuff? Let's replug it. Maybe that will resurrect it. There we go. Okay, hopefully this works. Now, first is the big piece right there. Okay. Let's see how that works. That's enough. That might be enough. Is this enough? This is barely enough, right? We need a little more oomph. So kind of means that I fucked up. Position by hand. If not, we'll redo it basically. Okay, let's see if that did the trick. Mostly. So we'll have to redo it. That's unfortunate. So, but it's a learning experience, right? So why not? Why not learn? Okay. Let's see. Yeah, that was great. Except I pressed the wrong side, and therefore I have a little square here. There's no problem because I can just flip it and press one. Okay, let's see how that turns out. Yeah, that turned out very well. Okay, so I think that's what we're doing. We need one bottom, one front, like that. Yep, that's good enough. Two sides. Two sides. You know what? Let's do the big boy first, and then we'll do two sides on another piece. And I'll do a little bit of a shift in one side, and a little bit of a shift to another side. And hopefully that's the trick for us. Yep, that does the trick pretty well. So let me show you all what came out of that. I don't know if it's very visible, but you can tell that there is impression. Like these three pieces worked well. This one, not so much. So this one will become a piece of leather to use another time. Why did I put it on the very edge? I don't know. So this one becomes unusable, and this one will become another piece. Means I need to wet it all one more time. Since this pattern worked, this acrylic pattern worked, I'm not gonna use the other one, the one that can be used for manual transfer. I will only use these. I'll probably should do another one then. If this one works out, if I have enough space. I have enough space, so this will be one. It's gonna be two. Do I have 3, 4? No, just one. Okay. I'll need another piece of leather for the full set. We'll just start by finishing this pattern. Let me wait until this dries up a little. And meanwhile, I can cut another piece. How big do I need? Will this be enough? 1, 2. Yeah, looks like this will be enough. Oop. Basically 1 and 2 will do the trick. Like that. Let's remove the sticker real quick. There we go. Put it here for now and go back to our press. Okay. Let's go with the big piece again. This time around I'll shift it back and forth instead of left and right. Well, maybe not. Left and right it is again. Big piece, mostly successful, not perfectly, mostly successful. Can I reposition it again? Position it well enough again, press a little more, yes I can, and we'll do back and forth as well. So it presses on this side, right? Yes. That did the trick. Then I need 2 of these. Let's try making them in one go. I wonder if that works well. Famous last words. Right? So, little one way. Little other way. Little left and little right. Let's see. 1 and 2. Both impressed very well. And now I need 4 of these little guys, basically 4 sides for for 2 boxes. So 1, 2. I think that should do it. Right? Nope. Reposition it again. That. The basic idea is that you never know if you position it centered and if your impression is going to be very good. That applies to both cutting dies and these impression die. 1. I do want to move this board a bit. I move this under the block because this fixes it. And now for this one, do one more piece. Yeah. A little farther away. Closer. Right. And a little left. Yep. Good impression. Good impression all around. Nice. And we need two more. Hello, Time Roller. No, you are Time Lord. That's who you are. You're Time Lord. How you doing, man? Sorry, I didn't see you there. Was busy here playing with my toys. It went fine. Did it? It did. Nice. One more. And this is all before I even start cutting, right? Like this is not a cutting die. I didn't make enough of these to make a cutting die. Good design, fun product, but didn't make enough sales to justify the shop. Again, maybe that's a wrong approach. Maybe I should make them first and then basically if you made a design, you must have spent enough time. I will need, where's the big piece? Leave it here on the table. Yes. I will need this piece for scribing later. Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. Now we can sit down and continue our work in front of the camera. Okay. First, we cut, right? First, we cut. That was easy. And I use my knife, but I kind of like the roller cutter as well. You know what? The top I should probably cut right away. And maybe I should have done it first. Basically, the idea is that the pieces that get stitched, they can get sanded later, but the edges that don't get stitched probably wouldn't. So I can leave a little bit of extra on these guys. Right? But on the face, and obviously this first one was the face. Come on. That's okay. That's okay. Nice. And there will be plenty of hole punching as well, because this one is not using my regular, I don't think, right? Yeah, it is not exactly 385. It had to match the dimensions of the cube, so it will have to be a hole puncher. If any of you are, how do we call it? Diesel punk fan, this is how you do it, basically. Have hole puncher do the trick. Okay, let's start with this guy. By the way, since I'm making two in one go, I think the other one will be made cheaper. So if anyone wants to order it, please feel free. I'll give you a discount. Okay, here I want to use the round corners. Where are my round corners? Where are my round corners? Here they are. I thought they should be somewhere around here. Right? Nope. In fact, I now have a special tool for it, so I don't need the round corner anymore. And this one is not gonna be glued, so I can just cut it right away. Grab one of those round cornery thing. I can do the round corners later, it's fine, sorry. I keep going back and forth. Sorry if that's not very clear. If you know any Rubik's Cube fans, please send them my way. I'll be happy to make them their Rubik's Cube a bespoke suit. Okay. In here, I do need to have this big cutter, and I don't think my corner cutter actually is big enough. Right? Let me take it out. This is a medium. Where is the little pocket for this? There it is. I think I need the small one for this corner, am I right? Yeah, I think this is the small one. So the question is, will the big one do the trick in here? It actually would. Nice. Nice. So let me put away all the tools I do not need. Oh, come on. It's a nightmare here already. Okay. So here, I can just do this trick, right? Push it through. And do it one more time. And we got ourselves a little hole. since I have it out, let me do it on the other one. Since it's not really a corner piece, it means I need to be a little more careful positioning it. There we go. Another tab. So the big one is finally useful. I didn't know I'll need these big corners, but for this piece it's perfect. I mean, ideally it should be like one go, but I have for that I have a separate kind of punches rather than knives, and they are just too loud. Okay, back to cutting regular straight lines. I have a feeling I'm wrong trying to leave a little more space. I think that will get me at some point. So let me go and cut them all at the right dimension. It's not as hard. Let's see if this cut will be success. Yep, cut it out. So this piece is good. Now let's trim these like to perfection. I think I tried to outsmart myself here a little bit. Did it do the trick? Almost. Okay. I think this is... I'm trying to do things I shouldn't be doing. It's perfecting the thing. Should not be perfecting the thing. Yeah? Remember the rule on this channel? No perfection. Perfection is not allowed. Okay. This is good enough, though. Not perfect, but good enough. And here we can use the corner knife. This one is the small one. And here I can do the rounded corner. I use this on the business cards as well. So this one turned out to be like the one that matches the most. Matches the kind of subtle roundness. Can you see the subtle roundness? Yeah, maybe. Welcome to the subtle roundness corner. Let's trim this up to the exact specification. Next time, or rather on the second set, I will use the perfection right away. Not perfection, sorry, precision. I was out for a little bit because of my knee. I hurt my knee in December and hurt it even worse in January. And now I'm in physical therapy and everything, and I didn't have enough energy to do the stream until somebody orders the cube case. And I'm like, okay, now it's time. I mean, I did a little bit of that soccer ball stitching, which was enjoyable. But because I need to sit down with my knee outstretched, or rather non-stretched, in a single position, it becomes a little more stiff. That's the word I was looking for. Also, I have to say I'm guilty of doing a little more coding than leatherwork lately for two reasons. One, the job, and another one is AI. I decided to do a little more vibe coding on my coding stream and do a little bit of my vibe coding in without vibe coding stream, or rather AI assisted development. That's what they call it these days. And I'm making a few of my older projects, remaking them. Basically, there is quite a bit of philosophical conundrum going on in me, like not wanting artists to starve because AI takes their job, but also not wanting developers like myself to starve because it's taking our jobs. And also wanting to use it quite a bit, because it does speed up certain types of work, and if you wield it well, the amount of those types of work is pretty high, actually. Interestingly enough, the most recent thing I use AI for is not coding, but I downloaded the app called Whisper Flow, which lets me type using my speech. And I've used the voice recognizing apps for a while now, but they always had their own issues. And I found that I needed to retype or adjust what they said way too much, and I couldn't really get enough trust in them to start using them. So but this application is very good. Like, since I changed my mind when I speak, right? Like, I first say words and then I'm like, oh, no, this other thing, you know, or rather, like, I just say this other thing, right? Or instead, or rather, right? And this tool actually goes and modifies my original words to finally be what I actually meant to say, which is a big deal. I know it might not sound like that, but definitely faster than typing words into the freaking chat interface of the AI bot, right? So that's what I'm using now. Again, don't know if this forum is the right place to discuss it, really, because this is for crafters, but it is somewhat an existential change for many of us, for many intellectual workers. Doesn't matter what kind of intellect you use, right? Whatever you use it for, just sitting in front of the desk, or even if you're trying to create art and design new objects like we do here on this stream. A lot of this can be taken from us by the AI, or rather bad people using AI and bad people investing into AI to take our life away. Again, I'm not against AI. Notice that. Might not sound like it, right? So a big conundrum in my head is actually that. Is like, I might not be a fan of AI, but A, it's taking out jobs, and I'd rather not be taken. because having money to pay for all of this extravagant leatherworking hobby slash business is important. And second, I always wanted to build things. I didn't care if I code by hand or by machine. So, yeah. People like ourselves, developers, or rather engineers, or rather creative people, they don't care. They might have learned the right one tool their whole life to do it. But once the tools get replaced, ultimately we didn't care about the tool, coding or whatever, right? We wanted to solve people's problems. Anyhow, a little piece gonna be used one day, maybe. Oh. The scraps bin got fuller. And the last piece. The last piece. Now that I'm thinking about, should I ship these boxes with Rubik's cubes in them or not? Right? Like, you can call it a Rubik's cube mannequin if people buy it for their expensive cubes. Okay, so next step. What are the next steps? Next steps are holes, right? We need holes for all of them, all of the holes, because when we color, we want the color to go into the holes, right? And not be what? Not be this color inside the holes, right? So, yeah, a lot of hole punching ahead of us. So first, let's take out the box of hole punchers, which is the same box we just put away. There. And it's supposed to be easy to freaking open. Or maybe it's supposed to be hard to just accidentally open. I don't know. But this is not easy and definitely not enjoyable process. Come on. There we go. Happens every time. And we are going to use this guy, right? Which is what? Which is 1.5 millimeter hole punch, right? Is it too big? No, this is the right one. It doesn't clog. That's the important aspect of it. And I'll probably use this mallet. We'll see if that's good enough. So let's start. right? Is that right? Yeah, and these impressions on the pattern are actually very useful because they let me position the hole punch precisely enough. Somehow I have a feeling this is too big of a hole punch. Oy, oy, oy. Should this be this one? 1 millimeter? That's half millimeter. This is 1 millimeter. No, this one always gets clogged. You know what? 1.5 is good enough. I hope it doesn't get clogged. Don't let me down. Just a few holes, folks. Just a few holes. 20, right? It's the magic number. Yeah, this one doesn't get clogged. Please push through. Whew, that's a lot of holes. You know what? Let me grab, instead of this guy, let me grab the plate we were just using for pressing and just use that for punching. This way I don't need to be precariously positioned. As you can tell by the holes in it, it's been used for exactly this purpose. For the Mr. Tony projects, or how do we call them? Patterns. Diesel punk patterns. There you go. And this way I can also, you see, not drop my mallet every time when I want to reposition. Yeah, let's not rotate it. In fact, let's use the weight to not let it slide. Lockwood! Guys, welcome! Welcome! Welcome, Lockwood team! Hello, hello! I saw you live as I was going on the stream, and I was like, oh man, I missed those guys. How are you doing? What are you guys working on today? I can imagine something pirate specific, right? Is that what you were making? Please share. I'm back to streaming. I think I said it many times over the years, but you know, this time every time I have an excuse. This time around, it's limping. Oh, you see, I'm like a pirate too. You know, I was limping, and I should have said R. Welcome, Rodsky. Welcome, the Bourbon Mountain Man. You are all welcome. So what I'm working on today, and was it by the way, how do I know what happened? Follow has happened. Welcome thank you for the follow, Arid82. You are around 480 number. 2 more and it will be 82 number, which I think you have some relationship with. So today we are making a not dice bag, a Rubik's Cube bag. I might be forced to learn how to assemble it again to look like that, right? But reality is, we are not sending the cube, we are only sending the bag. That will be the color of the cube. Thank you for the follow, Viz Anon. I assume you anonymously visible. Lockwood! Must raid and run. No worries, man, no worries. Enjoy your night, enjoy your night. Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you for bringing your people, your leatherworker friends, here, where we will use leather for even weirder things than you guys use them for. Rubik's Cube cases, come on. Okay, first piece is punched. Only many holes. And I have 2 of them to make. Well, technically I need to make 1, so we'll probably start with 1. The second one will be backup. And this is why I keep this little plastic bag on my punch. So I collect all of the little confetti that comes out of the leather in a bag, and I can go and empty it into my trash instead of having it all over the table. I don't know if other leather workers like myself who use hole punchers for the patterns use this trick, but this is a trick I learned somewhere. Actually, I don't remember where I learned it. Probably from one of the Tony's followers, and Tony is the Dieselpunk Tony kind of guy. He definitely made a lot of impression on all of us, and I think one of the people in his community impressed by the 20 holes they need to punch and how many confettis they make recommended this a few years ago already. Jesus, I can't believe I'm doing this for so long. You mean the Rubik's Cube case or the packet, the bag, the baggie? Both I think are cool. On this stream, I like sharing knowledge, how I do things, even if I'm not very experienced. Yes, the baggie, exactly. But I rather show you all how I do it because we all learn here. That's where I learned. I learned here at the very same streams from I was learning from Bad Mood, who is back again, by the way, and you can learn from her as well. And I was learning from other folks here, like Peeper and others. So yeah. Yeah, the Rubik's Cube too. Yes, I mean, I've sold a few over the years. It's not as popular as dice bags, probably because the audience for Rubik's Cube is kind of not naturally coming to leather idea, and therefore needs to be advertised too. But and dice bags are kind of like D&D people, kind of like, oh, leather, that's us, right? Or rather, maybe not D&D people, but whatever. Whoever makes dice bags. By the way, if you haven't seen my dice bags, I do have them somewhere. I'll share them shortly if you're curious, but I do make them, and I do have the pattern to make them. And I know Lockwood made one before. I forgot which one. Whatever it was, D6 or D20. I don't remember now. Probably D20. Or maybe D12, because I have those three. And yeah, I like the idea of putting a Rubik's Cube in a bag. This was like, as I was saying earlier, to give it a tuxedo, you know? Like, what the real Rubik's Cube people, or cube solvers, or whoever we call them, should ride with style, right? By the way, I was riding on the train the other day to work. I don't go to in the office often, but this time I was. And the person next to me was assembling Rubik's Cube. He was clearly a speed cuber because, well, he was fast and he had a very shifty cube. The cube that was moving very quickly. Not your regular run-of-the-mill cube. I mean, this particular one is gonna be colored as solved. By the way, let me type a command with a project. Where is my chat? Where is my chat? Come on. How do I paste into this chat? Can I? Why is my chat broken? I don't know. Nice. So basically, pattern is the pattern for this cube, and the cube project is the link to the actual how do we call it? Sheesh. To the actual cube, right? After all, I have these fancy commands and stuff, but Why did I type project twice? I meant to type pattern, did I? No, I didn't type project twice. Pattern, cube case. Yeah, I think they're the other way around. The cube is the pattern, and the case is either way. You know what I'm talking about. Why did I want to share it? I don't remember. I just enjoy making these weird contraptions. Oh yeah, I wanted to say that I have a couple variations in coloring. One of them is basically black tuxedo, the black cube. Another one, like this one, is solved, right? And another one is scrambled, where the pips are all over on different sides, on different places, right? And colored accordingly. And that one is more expensive. Well, tuxedo is the cheapest of them, because coloring black is in one color is easier than coloring in multiple colors. And these two holes are for the snaps. Right, let's do this. Since I took out the hole puncher that is preset to the snap size, let's punch those 4, 6, 8 holes, right? 4 for each project. Oh, come on. And folks, like, you see how these are already patterned, right? And that's because I used the stamps that I made on a laser cutter to transfer the image to them, right? Instead of manually creating them, manually drawing them on leather every time, right? I know it's cool, but I just don't know if it's obvious. Okay, too many things around me. Time to rehydrate or dehydrate. No, hydrate. Hydrate is the word, right? Funny enough, being a web developer, the word hydrate now has other meanings in web development space. So in my brain, they are intertwined. Is that the right word? Intertwined? Something like that. Oh, as I'm fondling these pieces, I can show you another project I'm in progress of working on, which is the soccer ball that I'm going to be making. Well, I'm already making it. It's in progress, right? Very early progress. Well, not that early, but quite a few stitches to make. So it's going to be my first soccer ball. We'll see how it turns out. I'm actually thinking of making a next one, if I'll survive the first one, with some kind of tooled pattern on them, you know? We'll see how that goes. Okay, 2 pieces punched. Oh, I forgot to punch these holes, right? We can do that now. Oh, come on. These are for the flap that comes back when you open the cube, so you can you can take it out, basically. Otherwise, you cannot put your fingers into this cube, into this box, into this case, right? Where is my Japanese style knife? Must be somewhere around here, but where? That's the question. Is that here? Yeah, there it is. And I want that because I want to use the push force to cut these through rather than drag blade. There we go. And that's easier to align properly and not to damage the leather in the wrong spot. There we go. So now, like when you want to take out the cube, when this flap opens up, you'll be able to do that basically. I don't know, like when I assemble, you'll see. So this piece is complete. Let's go back to more little holes punching. So this one was the bottom, right? Like all 4 stitches all around. And this is the front where the snaps will be, where like basically these snaps will be snapping onto. You can see that on the picture above me. Meditation and a little more punching. Yeah, I mean, trust me, as I was designing it, I made a few not so good ones that were not possible to take the pieces out. And that's when I ended up coming up with this idea. It's kind of funny how design, like you have an original idea, but then you're like, okay, between this theoretical idea in my brain and really usable product, there is quite a bit of distance. And you need to solve problems you didn't think of originally, you know? Intellectual rascalnia. Okay. Intellectual rascalnia apparently wants to be banned. So we'll oblige real quick. If only I remembered how to do that. Come on, where is my chat? Where is my Twitch chat? Twitch chat. Oh, did I close my Twitch chat? Yeah, I closed my Twitch chat. That's not good. Yeah. My chat. There we go. How do I... Well, I can just ban them right here. Right? Ban! Ban! No, not activity feed. What did I want? What was here before? Quick actions? No. I forgot. Whatever it was here, there will be chat here now. A little chat for just specific for banning bad people. Yes, many prototypes. That's how you go about it. Yes, you prototype, and then you get yourself a project. And I keep telling my sons that it's okay to expect 6 prototypes. This is normal. If you do fewer of them, it means you're much advanced in your predictive ability. Or you actually make a product that will not work. That's also possible, but like, don't expect 1 prototype. Don't expect no prototypes and just making it from scratch right away. They don't believe me. They want everything done immediately. And they're adults by now, by the way. Just mind you. I know I don't look like it, but my kids are already out of college. Or maybe I do like it. Do look like it. You know. Prototyping is fun though. You kind of learn about materials, you learn about things. Like, for example, I'm working on these cards and I wanted to have lighter blue and I diluted it. It just doesn't look blue to me. It just sucks, you know. So it looks like I'll have to come back to these after basically redo them, right? Like, because I'm not liking this color. The first one was even better. It was not as light of the blue, it was actually dark blue, but at least this one is blue, right? I don't know if you've seen my business cards, by the way, digital business cards. These two are the newest. This one is a crocodile with a crocodile horn sticking out. And this one is special, so let me demonstrate it to you. So the idea of these cards, let me start with this one, is that there is a NFC tag inside, and you can touch your phone or another person's phone to it, and it will pop up a browser and open up whatever you want them to open up. Thank you for the follow, Kennedy104. I appreciate it. Obviously, not obviously, but there are other cards on the market, like plastic cards, and they're like, usually they lock you in. This one doesn't. You can actually put any URL you like. In fact, the instructions I hard-coded on this will tell you how to do that, right? And you can point it at anything you want. Yeah, by all means, make one or buy one. You can buy one. You know somebody who buy them from. I'm kidding. Like, if you're a leather worker, you should make one. This one, however, is even more special. Like, notice how something happens. Not just a URL pops up. Oh, come on, I use this as a camera as well. Not just the URL that pops up on my screen, which it does, and by the way, points at the store, but the stars on the thing, exactly, the lights, exactly. So that's my super new product. And I want to make the whole constellation. That's why, like, this was the first prototype of this lights thingy that I made, and these is part of the full-on 12 constellations that my son designed. Yeah, so I will come back to them, but first I need to get over these poor colors. Yeah, maybe I'll recolor them just directly instead of trying to make new ones, because it's kind of upsetting. Anyhow, if you are interested, I'm glad you liked it. There is a ChernyGoodsCo/card is the URL. Does it convert that into URLs, folks, for you? Yes. If you're on Twitch, it does. On YouTube, I believe you don't get that, right? Yeah, so these cards are available. I mean, different versions cost different amount of money, but still, you can take a look. I have quite a few different variations that I made in the past. In fact, I would love to get you all's opinion on which designs you like the most. And I got inspired by the trading cards that people do in leather, right? I know Jim Linnell runs a Facebook community for trading cards, for example. People tool their own cards and share and exchange. You know, I made a couple actually, now that I don't remember, but I remember making one for what's his face? I haven't seen him here in a while. That's why I'm blinking out. Okay, I don't remember. I remember making him a card though, a playing card, because I also collect playing cards, which we'll get to after I punch all of these holes real quick, because we have a few new people here, so you might find it interesting. If you look at the rewards below on Twitch, you will see that I have a couple of rewards for showing a playing card deck, but I also have a subscription reward. Every subscriber gets something, which I will share in a second. Again, it's just to let you know, not to tell you that you have to subscribe. But showing the playing card deck is there because I collect playing cards and have a lot of decks, and I can show you a deck of cards and tell its story, most likely, if I remember. But usually I do. So, in addition to just having a huge box of playing cards that I can show on this stream, and if you think this is huge box, I actually have two big boxes where 20 of these boxes reside in each. So I have quite a few playing card decks. Not all of them are full though, but I have a few here. So if you're interested, make that redemption in the rewards. I'll be happy to show you the deck of cards. But in addition to a deck of cards that I show, I also have a subscriber deck somewhere. Is it here? No, it's not here. Where is it? You know, my favorite game here. Find something on the workbench. Oh, come on. I was trying to brag. Oh, there it is. There it is. So I made a few of these cases for playing cards, obviously. This is a regular deck, nothing, just a deck of cards, of miscellaneous cards, you know. I think this is the first case that I made, actually. Or maybe I wanted to make many of these cases also, like as a product. Maybe it wasn't the first, but it was like one of those prototypes for the deck, right? You can tell by not being colored. But this is the deck, which is also kind of prototype because I don't like this bulging piece here, but it's a magnetic deck with a diamond on it. Magnetic closure, couple diamond stitches on the bottom, and a stamp. By the way, if you look into redemption down below, there is also a way to stamp a project I'm working on. You know, so it requires a lot of points, but you can get me to stamp a project that I work on, including this the Rubik's Cube bag. But this contains a deck that is a subscriber deck, subs deck. And what it means is that when somebody subscribes here on this channel, they get to pick a card that is not yet been claimed. These are all claimed cards already. But then you get yourself, we play poker. I show you 5 cards, and you pick one, and I randomly deal, obviously. That's why it's poker. But then you will get your name on a card. So I have a few people here who are regulars on the stream. If you see somebody who has many dots, it means they subscribed multiple times and claimed their membership, right? So this one, for example, is for one of the oldest members. who was originally going by G-Rail Illuminations and now is Black Ram Leatherworks. You might know him. But yeah, Black Apple is here. Many people have been added. Some of them got the very cool cards. Some of them got the best cards and all of that. Coco got the Ace of Clubs, you know. So anyhow, that's what subscription gets you. When I have the full deck, I will print the deck of cards. I will design and print the deck of cards so your name will be on the card, and you can get it. At least that's the plan. That's the plan. So this is the other games that we play on this channel. Back to it. So we made the bottom, we made the front, we made the back and the flap, right? Like this is how it will close. And now we just need to make the two sides. And for that, we need the two pieces that have no stitches on one side. These are the two pieces in question, right? Yes, 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 yes. Let's do these two. Okay. We'll put these aside. A little more punching before we get some. I like that you like the cards, by the way, because that's a lot of inspiration. It's actually very interesting, and like I came up with the idea for this product, and let's call them Cherny cards, and I'll be making a lot of them if I have time, energy, and all of that. But I already sold and gave away about 60, so they're relatively popular. I definitely bought second package of NFC tags that go into them. So you mentioned that you want to make one yourself. Are you an engineer? Are you a software engineer yourself? Do you understand how NFC tags work? I mean, you don't have to be a software engineer to understand it, but like somehow I may jump to that conclusion. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. You can be my first customer. Not first. Next customer, sorry. All I'm saying is I need to figure out how to really do it. You just love the idea. Nice. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all you need is an FC tag, right? Like, and then you stitch it. You know, it's if you understand how to do leather work, which I assume you do. It's a relatively straightforward project to make. The rest is artistic expression, you know. How are the prices on that side, by the way? What do you think about the prices? I realize you looked at my Etsy store. What do you think about the prices for these cards? Because pricing things well are hard. Is hard. How are we doing on time, by the way? Where are we? Or 40 minutes in. Okay. I have plenty of time. Struggling with pricing as well? Yeah. No, I mean, actually the card I linked in there is linking to all the cars. You just need to use the drop down to pick the right design, and that will give you the pricing on a few variations. Obviously, default price shown is the lowest price. That's how Etsy does it. I'm currently unraveling a few meters of jewelry chain one of my kids decided to play with. Okay, that's normal. Sometimes it's not kids. My wife asks me to unravel some of that. Is that jewelry chain as in like one of your chains for your jewelry, or is it like a huge spool of chain that you make jewelry out of? Because that can be also fun. Definitely as a kid, I would probably play with both of those. Okay, last piece. I don't know how far we'll get in the project today. It will probably take a couple days to make. Maybe a few days to make, actually, because I will need to wait for the dye to dry and all of that. So it is a spool you make our jewelry out of. Nice. There you go. So you are a jewelry maker, I assume, right? And are you a leather worker as well? That's what brought you to Lockwood's stream, or just fellow crafter? By the way, Scud Missiles, did you follow? Did I not praise you for following me? I apologize. But I'm glad you liked it. Okay, let me throw away the confetti. I've been at it for hours. Nice. Oh, thank you for the follow, Scud Missiles. I appreciate it. I just realized that I might have shamed you into following, which I obviously will not be doing. Not shamed you, incentivized you. Multitasking, exactly. Folks, if you multitask, find a moment and follow. We are getting to that magic number of 512 followers. Almost there. A few more, and that will be awesome. Game with Lockwood. Okay, sounds good. Lockwood is awesome. They are both amazing guys. Their like lighting setup is just magic, and jokes and action and everything. I'm nowhere near as active as them, obviously. So they started streaming a little after I did, maybe a year after I did. I'm always jealous about how well they're doing. Obviously, I'm also jealous of them actually pursuing it as a full-on project, full-on business, I would say, project. I could not accomplish that. Even as I was unemployed, I didn't try making leatherwork into a business, unfortunately. Or fortunately, I don't know. Looking for a job was kind of an intense process, so it might still come. It might not be the last time. You make all types of things, no need to create an overwhelming. Need to create is overwhelming at times. I can relate to that. That's why I'm like, I think mine also like intensifies in spring. They say it's a sign of being crazy, but I'm okay with that. But I also create software. As being a software engineer by day, I also like creating online projects, and both for fun as well as for my industry fun. So I speed up websites by day, by the way. That's what I do. And that's, by the way, why I didn't do as much letter streaming, because I did some vibe coding streaming instead as well. So kind of my time is split between the two. And yesterday, in fact, and somebody asked me web performance questions, asked me to speed up their website or recommends improvements rather, which I did, and I enjoyed it tremendously. So, let's put this away because the holes are punched. Oh, come on. Fighting this box is an exercise every single time. And now all of them went to the one next to them. Next to the right position, right? And this one is actually the wrong one. This is where this one will live. Okay. Come on. Get in the right spot, folks. Yay! Okay. For the second set, I'm not gonna be punching them now. We'll leave it for next time when I do the second set. Maybe. I'll show you my first hole punch holder, which I made a long time ago when I first started. So this one was less refined, let's put it this way, but it did the trick, and it was out of like a spare piece of leather, so nothing wrong with that. In fact, it was amazing because I underestimated how many I need. I had one more to fit, so I had to add one more strap here. Where that one more punch, I actually don't know. Probably got lost somewhere, but it was hilarious how I had like counted them. So 4 here, 6 here. Apparently there was 11th right there. I'm like, nice. This is good. This is fine with me. But yeah, maybe I need a leather holder for my hole punches, as a bigger, like a fancy one, you know, like that deserves it. Yeah. Okay, let's put this guy away. Okay, I promised to show you a dice bag as well. Let me find some other projects. Since I have you here while you're busy untangling that chain, I'll show off a few things. First of all, these dice bags. So these are D6 dice bags. Sorry, D20 dice bags. They have magnetic closure, and they close very satisfyingly. And this particular one has the images on them, and I have the pattern for it, by the way. That's like, I spent a year and a half developing it. Maybe 2 years total. You know, but my son also drew a few patterns, so if you get a pattern, you get yourself a pictures as well. So you can, basically a couple artworks, right? So this is the D20. This is another D20 with the stars that Alex designed, right? Again, with a magnetic snap, just like that. That it snaps because of leather, right? Like there's nothing else happening here. And yeah, and it's not stitched on every side, right? Like I've seen a few patterns for just having triangles stitched. This is not how this one is stitched. This is stitched differently. It has a special thinking about how to make the snap sit flush so this opening is not as big. It's not invisible, but it's like there is quite a bit of consideration that went into designing this, quite a lot of prototypes again, right? This is like a plain version, right? Just like that. By the way, this specifically has a low profile snap, but this can work for both low profile and bigger profile, either through thickness of leather, or you can actually have two placeholders to lower the magnet down farther. So, you know, quite a bit of exercise. So this is a D20, my most popular dice pattern. So since we are on it, I'll actually promote the pattern too, if anyone wants to make one. And this is ChernyGoodsCo/D20. There you go. I wonder if I've pressed D20 like that, will my chatbot work too? Or not? Nope, chatbot doesn't know that. Nope, no. Okay, that's fine. So basically, ChernyCo/D20, that will send you to the pattern for the D20. And I have like a SVG version as well. So if you use a machine to cut it or whatever, you can use that as well. Okay, what else do I have? I actually, do I have the D6? Come on, where are all of my D6s? Where did they go? Did I sell them all? I obviously make wallets. So I made a few wallets. Oh, by the way, these are a few more cards I can show off. So here are the antique bronze versions. I mean, I did not color them. That's the leather I got, right? And these are, some of them come in this shiny packaging. So which one is this? Oh, these are also antique bronze, right? So I got some of this shiny packaging material that I make these holders out of. Yeah, this one is also antique bronze. So these are the, yeah, and I got a lot of that leather. I found the leather. I found the supplier, or at least I found some leather. I didn't buy a lot of it, but I bought enough for many cards. I made a wallet where I was learning how to do French binding to like fold the edge, and this is the, for Harry Potter's fans, this is a Marauder's Map wallet, right? And it has the Gryffindor colors. And it's a relatively straightforward wallet, four card slots and a bunch of for whatever you want to store there. But I just love the construction, and I just love the, like, the obviously the lining and stuff like that. So make some of this kind of stuff, you know. I should probably give it to somebody who loves Harry Potter, or sell it. I make these little wallets. I have actually a cutter die, so I make quite a few of these. Right, so some bronze, some fancy ostrich leather, by the way, with some gold accent and brown patterned leather on the inside. This is like a fancy version of the wallet, but some more basic ones, like with this crackled white. It's not dirty, it's crackled. It's kind of fun. Or this awesome green. I just love this green, you know. And again, some of this bronze, antique bronze, I call it. So anyhow, yeah, some of these wallets I make those too. What else do I have in my bag of holding? Oh, I do. If you like the Rubik's Cube, you will like this too, hopefully. So I'm a fan of Tetris, and I made a couple bracelets with Tetris pattern, like this, right? But I also make these Tetramino wallets. Some of them got a little bit damaged, unfortunately, but you know, that's life. But I make, obviously I will not be selling these, you know, but yeah, I make these pocket, basically little card wallets, right? That look like Tetramino or Tetris pockets, right? So it's kind of fun project of mine. I spent a lot of time developing it as well. Made all the digital patterns, the stamps and everything to make them quickly. Which one is this? Oh yeah, that's one of the early ones as well. There you go. So Tetris, and I'm a math guy, you know. I grew up liking Tetrises of the world and liking Rubik's cubes and stuff like that. Yeah, I also make these little. I'm a fan of MC Escher. I don't know if you are familiar with the artist, but he made. He's long gone. But he makes these. Well, tessellations. That's the official term. Tessellations, and I make, and these are embossed, right? Like this one is actually made by machine. I created. My son designed it, or made it rather, and I use Cricut to emboss it, the leather, and then I dye it by hand. And my wife helps me as well, so it's a little bit of a Chorny logo on this side. Yes, I am a fan. I am a big fan. Well, depending on what you call the stamps. So the stamps that I used for this, I made on a laser cutter. I don't have a laser cutter, but I went to the local maker space to do that. So yes, yeah. By the way, this is the other project. This is designed by my son. He loves art, and well, he loves art. He graduated with a fine art degree. Let's start with that. So he made these two lamasus. He loves history as well. So lamasus are Babylonian guardians of the gates. We have the two in museum. What is it? Museum of Modern Art? No, the History Museum in New York City. So he made this wallet, like, and this is tooled, obviously. It's like basically has a relief to it, and hand dyed. My wife did the dyeing, and one of the relatively early wallets. By the way, you see how these stamps are here, like this stamp and this stamp. They were redeemed here on stream to stamp my project, and I did stamp the project based on viewers' request. So this wallet is also available. And then this one is dedicated to my mother, who passed away unfortunately last year. Well, the year before it actually. And she loved making quilts. So this one is a quilt style wallet. Yeah. I'm not even sure if I can part with it, but well, now I have tears in my eyes. Yeah. This one is made not for my mom, but in the name of my mom. Yeah. So this one will probably never leave my collection, but yeah. Anyway, I'm mostly over it. If a child can ever be over this thing, then no, I'm not over it. Okay, so. Oh yeah, these are the trading cards, by the way. These are the some of the trading cards I made before I did those. These are the Ace of Diamonds, right? Um, and this is Ace of Hearts, right? These are very early of my work, but still kind of cool. And my wife made a mistake painting it, which was hilarious, but that's okay. And some keychains and stuff like that. Yeah, sorry to hear about your dad as well. It's a thing. I mean, we're all gonna be there. Start with that. So when I say paint, in this case, it is actually not painted. It was dyed. So I use leather dye mostly. When I don't use leather dye, I use leather acrylic paint, which is by Fibbings. So I have it here. Yeah. I mean, no, this is just dye. So I have a bunch of dyes here sitting here in this container, right? So this is the leather dye, and the difference is that the paint goes on top of the leather, while dye goes into the leather. Oh, you use the Fibbings. Nice, nice. So, by the way, here is the card I made for myself when I was going to Maker Camp. By the way, represent. Here is the. Sorry. There you go. Here's the Maker Camp hoodie. Oh, there it is. Logo. So I was going for Maker Camp. I needed the one for my store, so I made myself the card that I like. So it's tooled and dyed by hand. Chorny. CH. Chorny. Yeah. Funny enough, it's symmetrical. Like if you flip it this way, it will also say it's the same CH. And I know it because I made a pattern and applied it the wrong direction. I'm like, oh, but it still works. So it is symmetrical. So if you look like this, like you see, it's like symmetrical. I mean, not this way, but like flip it, symmetrical. Oh yeah, and I started tooling. I started tooling recently. I got a few tools, and I have another box right next to it with a few more tools. Probably spent way too many. I don't do tooling a lot because I kind of do not necessarily like traditional tooling, but I like some of it. So I'll show you another project. And it will be a future wallet. Basically, I tooled the panel for the future wallet. And this is it's not my art at all. I mean, I'm not an artist necessarily, but this is Jim Linnell's art, actually. So one of his samples, but I loved how it turned out. Like it was a lot of tooling, a lot of tooling techniques. I think this is project number 4 that I made. Yeah, and if you go to my Instagram, you can see the project number 5, or this is 3 and that one is 4, which is a huge wooden chest that I tooled with Celtic knots and everything, you know, and I exchanged it at the Maker Camp, which I'm representing, right? Which I'm talking about. At the Maker Swap, they have a Maker Swap event where people bring their projects and they put one in, get one out at the end of the event. At the end of the weekend, it's a long weekend kind of event. By the way, if you're ever in the area of Catskill Mountains in the fall, this is a great event to go to because you can learn any skill. Not any, but there are many skills from leather to glass to metal to everything to woodworking, and you can try if something you never tried. And um, um, yeah, and they have a maker swap. Okay, next step. What is the next step here? I think the next step is to dye the backs black. Yeah, that's the next step. So good news is that for black, I actually have marker. And I want to be careful with it, not to overdo it. But instead of using the dauber, I can use the marker to dye it. It's Catskill Mountain Maker Camp. Let me find it real quick, and I'll give you the link. Maker Camp. Yeah, there you go. So here is the link. It's in Catskill Mountains in upstate New York. A lot of people fly in from all over the place. So it's like Jimmy DiResta, if you know him, is one of the patrons of the event. He's not the organizer, but he lives in Durham, and he is very close to those people who organize it. He's definitely behind a lot of it, you know. So I met him there. I made my sneakers at the intensive course that they. So after the event, like in the spring, like right now, basically starting January through May, I believe they have intensive course. The same people who demonstrate, they also teach like a 2-day event, a 2-day training, right? And or 1 full day and 2 half days training that you can buy. You can stay there like at the Blackthorn Resort. That's where it is, and you can make whatever the project is. We wanted to do some stained glass this time, but we decided not to, unfortunately. But I did go and made myself sneakers out of leather myself, right? Like, and that was a very bonding experience. And I met Jimmy DiResta. We made sneakers together. You know, that's this celebrity sighting kind of thing as well. You know? Okay, let's be brave and make. Let's start with those side pieces that are easier to remake. And I don't need to dye through, right? In fact, I don't want to dye through. In fact, my first bad experience with dyeing was because when I dyed through another project, well, one of these. One of these Rubik's Cubes bags, one of the first, well, the very first one actually that I made, and I painted on the other one side, and then I tried to dye it black on the inside, and the dye went through. In fact, I probably have it somewhere in here. Let me quickly find it. I need to show you the mistake. If I can find it on my workbench. If this is at all doable. Nope, cannot find it. What the hell? Anyway, this happens. By the way, I do have another hobby, which is the sublimation printing, which I sometimes combine with leather, stuff like that. So I make these. The reason I remembered it because I came across one of these coasters that I made. This is a cork coaster that I made, not my art, but the moment I saw how you can make these things or the mugs, I'm like, I have to do it. I just have to. I cannot not do it. So if you never did sublimation printing, I'm warning you, it's addictive. And again, I don't need to dye it very much because it's going to be on the inside. In fact, I didn't have to dye it at all, but I decided to dye these on the inside. Yep. It is addicting, exactly. So careful. I warned you. Do you use these kind of markers at all? Because I learned about them when I needed to dye the edges of the wallets. They're particularly good, like especially if you like do mostly black and brown edges, right? You can just fill them with a lot of dye and use them to cover a lot of area. And because they have a flat nose, they're good for the edges. It's easy to dye the edge flat. Again, I don't know how well known this is, but I don't think I immediately discovered it, and it was a very good addition to my shop. What I started trying the other day was using temporary tattoos on leather. That is fun too. Huh, and cheaper. Okay. Now that you mentioned the word tattoos, I have to show you something else, which I completely forgot, showing off things. Since this stream is mostly about me showing things off, not necessarily mine, I'll show you the tattooing gun. So I don't know if you've seen, but Weaver now sells them. So I use this tattooing gun, not tattooing gun, but tattooing gun, which is like a tattoo gun, like it's a relatively regular gun, but it has these little additional pieces that you buy that can help you impress on a leather. Basically, you water the leather as you usually would with for regular tooling, and then you can use a tattoo machine to do the impressions. That blue D20 bag that I made, I actually made using these instead of the traditional tattoos, the traditional tooling things. You've seen that? Yeah. So Dennis, who created the thing, this is actually the last one of the last prototype ones he sold me before he got the agreement with Weaver. So he's the one who taught the class at the Maker Camp, right? So all connected. It's all connected. It's a little pricey. Yeah, it's a little pricey for a thing that you will never use. But for the tool that you want to use and you find some of your art can be better expressing yourself, like freehand or like things that are harder with the traditional tools, yeah, the metal stick kind of tooling. This can be a groundbreaking technology for you. Or if you have problems with tooling, like one interesting example was a kid, one-armed kid, who cannot do leather tooling, because obviously he needs two hands to hold the tool and to hit with a hammer. In this case, he could use the machine with one hand, right? So, but even beyond that, like some people have arthritis that cannot hold tools strong enough. So this was an interesting tool for them to enable them to do leatherwork. Some people are like, hey, I'm too old to do this. I can no longer do it, right? But I loved this hobby my whole life, and this can be the opener for them, a way for them to get in again. Okay. Yeah, more of it. I like it. I definitely, it was like an expensive experiment for me. even though I paid very cheaply because like it was a prototype, and he was like selling them out before Weaver took over, and he gave me a discount. But it is interesting for sure. Again, I am not an artist, so for me it is not the tool of expression necessarily, But I'm a crafter, and this is definitely helping me. Definitely for the art that my son does, which is very line centric art, when he wants me to do something, this is useful. And obviously I put the die on my freaking mat again. Shit. I'm sorry. Whatever. And I put it on my hand already. I should be careful. This project taught me to be careful. So let's clean my hands with the alcohol. And clean everything else before we go further in this endeavor. Yes, yes, so do I. And I died myself. I died the projects I didn't mean to die. And I learned to not take it lightly and to always have the denatured alcohol nearby to not leave the die lying around, because it's very easy to transfer to other projects and stuff like that. In fact, I should probably get a paper towel to put under the leather, under the front of the leather, which I already thought twice about and still didn't do, which is a mistake. But, until there is this saying in Russian, which goes as, and the man will not. What is this gesture in Christianity? Christen? No, christening is a different thing. Whatever the word is, I forgot. The man will not do this until the thunder strikes, basically. Spray bottles and gel alcohol ready available. There you go. Especially with kids, you mentioned you have kids, right? How old are they? And you don't have to say if you don't want to. It's fine. I'm just curious. Mine are 22 and 25. Both graduated the college. Both out of the job. Well, Nick has the job at Starbucks. Alex teaches kids at school a little bit, but there's no full-on professional job they studied in college for. How's this going? This is going okay. Whew. All three kids are 14? Are they triplets? Oh, nice. Nice. My wife wanted triplets or what's the word for the two? Sibling? No, not siblings. Come on, what's the name? Like, okay, my English is not my natural word. I bet you have fun. Twins, that's the one. I bet you have fun saying they are 14. Like you always have fun behind in the back of your mind saying like, hey, like they are the same age, you know, where people expect to say to hear like multiple numbers, you know. Yeah, 14 triplets are like we have friends who had two kids and they wanted the third, but they got triplets, so now they have five. Um, that was an interesting experience for them. Definitely not something they easily subscribed to, but when you got it, you got it, you know. They made it to 14. Meaning like with you as a parent. By the way, I assumed you are a mom, but I might be wrong, right? Maybe are you a dad? It's hard to tell by your anonymous username. I don't know why I assumed that, by the way. Just a thought. Maybe I erroneously attributed you being a jewelry maker to being a woman. Because funny enough, I am before I did leatherwork, I did jewelry making. So you see, like we have all of these biases in our brain, which are ridiculous. Ridiculous. Not the right thing to have in your brain. The bias. Okay. Okay, now there is a hard part which I probably don't want to use this marker for, which is dyeing these edges. Or maybe I will not dye these edges with this color. Maybe I'll dye it with the color of the side they will be on. Yeah, that's probably better. Now, I can always use the black, right? So I can always come back for these pieces. I only want, at this stage, I only want the back. Yeah, so I will dye now. Then I will dye with appropriate color later on the faces. Then I will burnish. Yes, that's the sequence. I don't think I have it set fully, but it's always fun to understand the process. Okay, I just made a boo-boo, so don't move my project onto that boo-boo. I think the burnish will make this black dye a little bit more thorough. And obviously I will need to finish it as well. Because you don't want to color people's Rubik's cubes. Maybe next time I will not really dye the insides black. Maybe that's a mistake on my part. Maybe only for the ones that are actually black I would. The tuxedo ones, you know. Or not, because Rubik's Cube is kind of black on the inside. Right? Okay. I think we are done with this step. What time is it? It is 10 o'clock p.m. So we will be kind of thinking about wrapping it up. Now, the good news is that I can probably start painting the fronts in the color they're supposed to be in. Good news again is that for most of them, it will be a relatively straightforward process because you can just use a dauber, right? Except for this flap, which will be 3-color, right? But it has like the black in the middle, so I can always, like, if I have some problems with it, I can always come in and do the black last. I actually never did I? No, I did make this one above me, right? So I don't think I did it in this like thorough process. I think I used the brush to paint them, and I want to avoid that this time. So, okay. Let's take out the green. Let's do a little bit of paint, a little more dyeing for it. Dyeing for it. Okay. I probably have the greens here, or is it only blues? Is this royal blue? Maybe not. Is this royal blue? This is royal blue. No, this is the shitty royal blue that I made out of for that. Yeah, like, yeah, I'm not using that. In fact, I probably want to pour that out. No green here. Green is not here. Okay. Yeah, this is the royal blue I got. In fact, we will have a royal blue. So where is the blue? The blue is the opposite of what? Of green. So the back, in fact, this piece will be blue, right? So maybe we should do some bluing. How do I accomplish that carefully? More dauber, maybe? No? I'm a little worried. With these projects, I always worry about overdoing it, you know? Overbluing it. Okay. I need the gloves. I do need this thing to put the dauber into after I'm done. Ah, come on. There we go. Fingers crossed, that's for sure. Maybe it's just this particular bottle that is problematic. And do I have... Okay, I think I didn't completely fuck it up. Good. It does look black though, to me. So that's the terrible part of it. But we'll have to live with that. If it doesn't work out, I don't know what I will do. I don't know. Okay, so this is blue and the top is red and the sides are yellow. What do I have here? This is light brown. Yeah, I need to go back in the garage for the rest of them. Give me one second. Okay. I got a bunch of dye. Yeah, memories with yellow, that's for sure. I've been one of the projects I needed a lot of yellow and it just wasn't working very well. So I redyed quite a few things again and again and again. Okay, this is the green. That's good news. So it will be the front here and the front face over there. And I should take off my black gloves that I use specifically for blue. You know what? Maybe I should flip them around like going forward because these gloves like orange on the inside. And it's kind of tough to see any dye on black, but probably easier to see it on orange. Okay. Yes, this is red, this is blue. Let's put the blue away. I kind of need to explain to myself the steps so I don't dye everything all over around me into different wrong colors, you know? Okay, next, green. Put red aside. The good news, you know what the good news is? Yeah, yellow is like very good yellow if you know how to apply it well, if it doesn't go too hard, too heavy and stuff like that. Like, I love it. So this is green and this is Kelly green. Let's go Kelly green with this one. Again, I will need a new dauber because I don't remember which one of these is Kelly green and which one is just green. I think the small one is the Kelly green. Yes, that's the one. In fact, the small dauber is pretty useful right now. Let me shake it real quick. And I use the Kelly green on the Celtic motif, which worked very well. Yeah, that's one in the front. The good news is about the front that I can just go and do this all over it. Oh, come on. Okay. Okay, cool. Green is done. Goes together with the green gloves. You don't want contamination between the gloves. Your hands are already in trouble. Getting the gloves to be cross-contaminated is even worse. And now I have the freaking dye on me. I hope it's dye and not my blood. Right? It probably comes from one of these gloves. Sheesh. Okay, so these two go into trash. And we need to do the decontamination again. By the way, the classic green that what's his face? The regular green, Fibbing's green, is a little too emerald green. So if you ever need to pick a color, Kelly green is a little more grassy green and traditional green that I got used to, at least. And maybe we got it not from the glove that I threw away, but from this freaking bottle. Is that possible? Yes, it's definitely possible. Okay. So let's try cleaning the bottle. And maybe I need to unscrew it and clean them. I feel like I am doing it before using it, which is a mistake. On the other hand, if I use it while it is all this gross, I will probably have way too much dye all over the place. So cleaning it first and then cleaning it after is probably a better idea. What happened here? Did it fall or something? Okay. More paper towels. I think the leather coloring is basically the process of eating paper towels. That's what it is. It's like constantly destroying a lot of paper towel. Or maybe it's any coloring for that matter, any painting. And now we'll do it on the outside of the bottle. Maybe I should close it first so I don't continue this nightmare. The good news, folks, is that as we exercise with all of this, the existing dye job is drying, and we can hopefully see the progress on it. The blue is kind of bluey. Okay. Might not look like that on camera, but it's kind of okay. Okay, you know what? I think now is a good time to do some red coloring, right? And I obviously have red over here. Raw dye red. There we go. So we'll use that rather than this big bottle, which is now useless. Why did I bring it out? Oh shit! The dye spilled inside my fucking box. Okay, folks, if you came here for family-friendly words, it's not like we have this problem in general here, but I cannot promise that. So, especially as I deal with cleaning, finding tools, and stuff like that, I cannot promise that. At least, I hopefully will not say too many Russian curse words, and you will not learn too many of them as a result of this. But English, I know only a few, and I'll use them liberally. So be warned. Be warned. Okay, let's put this away. I will not solve this today. Let's clean this bottle a little. Yeah, my setup with daubers going into this big bag, then the bottle goes into, is not a good setup. I should figure out an alternative where dye doesn't go onto the... or maybe I shouldn't be reusing daubers. Maybe that's what it is. So, gloves. One glove. And let's turn over the black. The other glove. But this time it's an orange glove. There you go. And we'll dye the middle, right? The top is red. Yes, there we go. By the way, might not be obvious, but to a person who does Rubik's cubes all the time, they will recognize that you miscolored the thing very quickly. Okay, hopefully I didn't damage that green too much. And we can cover it with black. Okay, cool. Back in a bit, gotta deal with some dinner stuff. Absolutely, go ahead, go ahead. We might be wrapping up soon, or not. We'll see how that exercise overall goes, but maybe I'll color all of it. I have 3 of them left, so. Although I don't have my acrylics here with me, so I will not do the white one right now, I think. And the white is the opposite of yellow, right? White on one side, yellow on the other side. Yeah, that's right. And orange, and the bottom is orange, and the top is yellow. Okay, for the orange storage, I will use these markers of mine. Right? Is that the same orange? No, it's not the same orange. Ay. Let's try it on a piece of leather. Yeah, I think that's the orange we will use this time around. By the way, if you've never seen these markers, folks, they're pretty useful. They are from the real leather, which I believe... No, it's not. It's not the Michaels brand of anything, but it is kind of on the cheaper side. It's Silver Creek Leather Company, you know. But they are the only ones that sell a set, or actually several sets of colorful markers like this, full leather. So keep that in mind. So the orange is, again, is it on the bottom? Again, red on the top, orange on the bottom. Yes. So let's go to school in it with it. For the first time, I can be very liberal with the marker. Before that, I did Tetris, and Tetris was very painstaking. You needed to be very particular and careful and all that. The only problem here is that I'll probably use a lot of this marker up, if not all of it. And by the way, this is also not the same die as fibbings, so it behaves differently. So mixing it with fibbings is not as direct or straightforward. And fuck, I'm dyeing the wrong piece. This is not the bottom. Okay, this one goes into trash. Jesus Christ. Okay. Back at it. Yeah. That's why I made two projects. Oh yeah, maybe I should bring it out from the trash because that will make it a black one. Pretty good black one. Good news with dye. Dye will always any dye can be covered in black dye. Almost all of this. And it will work fine. This direction. And now we can go in this direction. This should do it. Okay. Should I try to even it out a little? No. It will lose the leatherness. It's not plastic. Okay. Orange is done. Now, which one did we not F up? That's the white, right? Or whatever else there is. Right, what else left? White and yellow. This can be yellow. Well, I'll take this one out of trash, and this will become the black eventually. Okay, yellow. Let's bring out yellow. I want to remember to go easy on the yellow. Because every time I put too much, And for this, I will probably need my yellow container. So this is the yellow I got. It's very dark. Very dark. Rubbing it over. And going relatively easy on the yellow. Relatively easy. And going one more time, which was a mistake, but this is life. Okay, cool. Done. No more yellow. Mistake was to do this. Big bottles are more economical, but you need to know how to manage them. Not for little art. Let's clean this first. I'll be right back, folks. I need more paper towel. Because after cleaning this, I need to clean the sink. This project is a paper towel eater, as I expected. So the two colors left are white. Need to make it peaceful. And I think I'll have to come back to it. So I will not finish dyeing today. I will do the coloring tomorrow. You know what? Let's punch the holes though. Let's punch the holes. And it is the third time we're taking out the thing. Maybe I'll ask my wife to color the piece in white. And we need a side piece, right? The side piece, yes. Side piece. Some dye on my hands, that's fine. We'll survive. what I didn't do is I didn't tool all the lines, which I will probably do now. At least on this piece, because I need to pass it on to Julia so she can dye it white too, while I do the day job. Oh yeah, this one doesn't have the black back. We'll do that too. Okay. The holes are made. So is the confetti, the leather confetti. Oof. This yellow is yellow. Do we have that problem on other pieces? No. Obviously not this one. This one. Okay. We'll cover this in black as well. Okay, hopefully this black will not come out on the other side. Here, we'll take another paper towel, yet another paper towel. Make sure we don't dye the front of it. Although it's so gonna be covered in acrylic white. So black is the problem, but a little bit of other dyes. Although white might still be a problem. Do I need to burnish this? The rest I can burnish afterwards, but the acrylic one I probably want to burnish first. And that was a mistake. Hopefully not a lethal one. Okay. This is done. Let's burnish this one so I can pass it over to Julia tomorrow. Let's throw away all the paper, most of the paper towel. Let's bring out the magic liquid of Tokonol. Where is my magic liquid of Tokonol? There it is. Is it still liquid? It's still liquid. That's nice. It's my glass burnisher. There it is. Still sitting in its original packaging for protection. And if you never burnish the back of the leather project, basically the meaty side, right? You should try it. It creates a very different surface, much sleeker, which sometimes is necessary if it is a working surface. But you do that by just one sec. You do that by using a piece of glass, to do this. Basically, you are compressing the fibers just like that. You see how it got darker? That's what I expected, right? So that's why I didn't worry about that black not being very black. This corner is going to be in the corner. Not overly worried about it, maybe. Maybe a little bit. I'm a little bit worried about it. But this will make, and as you apply pressure in this rounded glass corner, by the way, don't use regular glass, use tempered glass. They do sell sleekers with the handles, for example, or you can just buy a piece of glass like this. It's a little harder to hold. Some sleekers have like a wooden handle around it, which might be easier to hold. I bought it when I was cheap about the tools, and it still works for me. So I think I'm fine with it, you know. But sometimes when I do like a lot of burnishing, my hand starts to hurt. So it might be worth buying one with the handle that wraps the glass. And you do it until you have like this sleek surface. So it was like any leather, very non-slick. What is it called? Rough, right? Like it was soft but rough, right? Not necessarily scratching anything, but now it's very like mirror-like, almost like the front, right? Not exactly like the front, but almost like the front. So that's what you do burnishing on the back of the leather for. Okay, we are good to go here. I want to use the towel to clean up the holes real quick. Kind of don't like leaving Tokonol in there. Probably not important, but I have OCD, I assume. Never understood what OCD means, but I think in America using medical terms to describe regular things is normal. So OCD probably has a very particular thing it means. But people don't bother figuring that out. Okay, cool. Ready to pass to Julia. What do we have here? Yeah, here we have everything good, you know. I will carefully dye the pieces in between in black, right? So that's not going to be a problem. And then the rest of it will be covered, like the sides will be covered in black. So like that's not a problem. Same goes for the orange. The side outside of the holes, these panels will be black, right? Because they all connect to each other through the black, like the Rubik's cube. There are black pieces, black lines over here. I'm not doing black in here. I do want to do the tooling on it, so let's do that. That's my extra wide, extra deep guy. There we go. I'll put on the magnifiers so I can see that. In fact, I'll take off my regular glasses. And we'll just go tap, tap, tap. And I'm not watering the leather, so we don't get as deep of the impression here. We just need a deep enough impression. And I don't have a tool that will do both sides at the same time. Didn't buy one yet. So this will do. And some might say I don't need it after I use a stamp. And maybe they're right. But I want to make it a little more prominent. There we go. And we'll prep the rest of them separately tomorrow. But this one goes for acrylic dyeing, so I want it to be finished. Right? Yeah, I don't think you can tell on camera the difference between the depth on these guys, but there is one. Yeah, you can probably tell, right? Is it delay? Yeah, okay. Done for today. That's done for today. So, thank you all for joining. Thank you everyone who came with the raid. Thank you Visanon for keeping me company and having a good chat. I appreciate you and whoever else is there lurking, right? Thank you for joining me. It was fun. Is my phone running out? Yes, my phone is running out. That's fine. All those sounds. Thank you all for joining. I hope you enjoyed the nightmare before Christmas. Well, sorry, my stream. And I hope to see you back another day because, well, first of all, we'll continue this project, but there will be more shenanigans with leather here at some point. I cannot promise the exact date, but hopefully this project will happen this week. So, because I need to send it back to the owner. Forward to the owner, I should say. Thank you all for joining. I appreciate it. Should we try raiding? Is anyone up there? Let's take a look. We're not gonna do a lot of looking. You know what? Today is not the day for raid. I just don't feel like it. So, thank you for joining. I hope to see you next time. We are farther away to our goal of 512. We've made a lot of leather, ruined a little bit, and I think this is fun. Take care, everyone.